The underestimated species. The massive viewing chamber of Nexus Prime buzzed with the chittering, growling, and electronic communications of over 200 alien species. Commander Elena Martinez stood alone at the center of the circular amphitheater, her simple black uniform stark against the exotic colors and forms surrounding her. Above her, holographic displays showed the insignia of the Galactic Council, a symbol that had governed interstellar politics for over 3 millennia. High Counselor Thaxon, a towering reptilian Krillian with scales that shifted from deep green to gold, raised his ceremonial staff. The chamber fell silent except for the hum of life support systems. His yellow eyes, each the size of Elena's fist, fixed on the human ambassador with what could only be described as amused contempt. Commander Martins of the species known as humans. Thaxon's voice resonated through universal translators, carrying undertones of superiority that no technology could disguise. Your people have been observers in this council for 50 of your Earth years. Today, you request full membership status. This is unusual. A wave of what Elena recognized as laughter rippled through the assembled delegates. The Vorthek Admiral Zektar, whose insectoid form gleamed with chidness armor, clicked his mandibles in rhythm. The crystalline Etherians chimed in harmonious mockery. Even the gas-dwelling Nebulans pulsed their containment suits in patterns that Elena's briefings had taught her meant derision. Helena remained perfectly still, her hands clasped behind her back. High Counselor, humanity believes we have much to contribute to galactic civilization. We formally request the trials for full membership. This time the laughter was louder. Thaxon's inner eyelids fluttered, a Krillian expression of barely contained mirth. Commander, your species is charming, emotional. You wage wars over resources we consider barely worth harvesting. Your technology still relies on chemical propulsion and crude fusion reactors. Your people argue constantly among themselves, showing none of the unity required for galactic citizenship. Dr. James Wright, Elena's scientific advisor, stepped forward from the human delegation area. His weathered face showed no emotion as he activated a small holographic projector. With respect, High Counselor, we believe our unique perspective could be valuable. Our emotional nature, as you call it, has driven us to solve problems that pure logic might not address. Admiral Zektar's compound eyes focused on Wright with the intensity of a predator studying prey. Problems. What problems could your primitive species solve that we have not already addressed through proper scientific method? Your entire civilization exists because we allow it. Your solar system is quarantined not for your protection, but for ours. Emotional species are unpredictable. Elena felt the familiar calm that had served her through 3 decades of military service, from the water wars of the 2350s to the corporate conflicts that had shaped her generation. Then test us. The chamber fell completely silent. Even the background hum of atmospheric processors seemed to pause. Thaxon's head tilted, a gesture that in Krillians indicated surprise, so profound it bordered on shock. Test you. The High Counselor's voice carried a new edge. Commander, perhaps your translation systems are malfunctioning. Species seeking full membership must prove their capability to defend Galactic Council interests. The trials are not symbolic exercises. They are survival tests against real threats. We understand, Elena replied. We're ready. The silence stretched for nearly a full minute. Elena could feel the weight of hundreds of alien gazes, some curious, most contemptuous. Finally, Thaxon's chest rumbled with what Elena recognized as deep amusement. Very well. Admiral Zektar, please explain the trial parameters. The Vorthek Admiral rose to his full 3-meter height, his 4 arms spreading in a gesture of presentation. The mining colony on Kepler 442 bits. 17,000 human colonists, established 15 years ago. Rich in rare earth elements essential to galactic technology. Intelligence suggests Void Raider clans are planning an assault within the next standard cycle. Elena's expression didn't change, but Dr. Wright shifted almost imperceptibly. The Void Raiders were legendary throughout the galaxy, nomadic warriors whose technology seemed to adapt and evolve during combat. No single species had ever successfully defended against a major Void Raider assault without significant Galactic Council support. "Your trial," Zektar continued, his voice carrying the clicking undertones of insectoid satisfaction, "is to defend this colony using only human resources. No Galactic Council support. No advanced technology transfers. No reinforcements beyond what your species can provide from your own systems." Faxon leaned forward on his throne-like chair. "Commander, understand what you are agreeing to. Void Raiders have destroyed civilizations far more advanced than yours. They have technology that adapts in real time to any defense. Their last assault consumed an entire Etherian crystal city, absorbing its defensive capabilities and turning them into weapons. 17,000 of your people will face annihilation if you fail." Elena looked up at the assembled council, her dark eyes meeting the gazes of creatures who had ruled the galaxy since before human civilization had discovered fire. "When do we begin?" The laughter that erupted was deafening. Delegates who had remained silent throughout the proceedings joined in the chorus of amusement. Even the usually stoic crystalline confederacy pulsed with patterns that Elena recognized as mirth. "Oh, this will be entertaining," chittered Admiral Zektar. "Very well, humans. You have one standard galactic month to prepare your defenses. We will monitor the engagement for educational purposes." As the council session ended and delegates began filing out, Elena caught fragments of conversation through her translator. "Brave little species," said one. "At least they'll provide data on Void Raider tactics," commented another. "Should we prepare funeral directives?" asked a third. Dr. Wright moved to Elena's side as they walked toward the departure bays. "Elena, are you absolutely certain about this? The colony wasn't chosen randomly. Kepler 442 bits is isolated, difficult to reinforce, and the terrain favors assault forces. This feels like a setup." Elena smiled for the first time since entering the council chamber. "James, how long have our people been on Kepler 442 bits?" 15 years, as the Admiral said. "But Elena, and how long has the Prometheus project been active?" Wright's step faltered. 18 years. What the colonists don't know about the neural linking experiments. They think they're just miners and farmers. Some of them are just miners and farmers, Elena agreed. But some of them have been quietly evolving for almost 2 decades. The galaxy is about to learn why we call ourselves humanity. As their shuttle departed Nexus Prime, Elena gazed out at the massive space station that served as the galaxy's political center. Thousands of ships from hundreds of species docked at its arms, a testament to 3,000 years of galactic cooperation and hierarchy. None of them seemed to notice the small human vessel, just as none of them had noticed the slow, careful changes humanity had been making to itself for the past generation. "Send the activation codes to Kepler 442 bits," Elena ordered her communications officer. "Authorization. Evolution Protocol 7. It's time to wake up." Behind them, on Nexus Prime, High Counselor Faxon was already making arrangements with holographic media networks throughout the galaxy. The coming battle would be broadcast live, a demonstration of what happened to species that overestimated their abilities. It would serve as a warning to other primitive civilizations about the importance of knowing one's place in the galactic order. What Faxon and the Galactic Council didn't know was that humanity had spent 50 years as observers learning every detail of galactic military doctrine, studying every recorded Void Raider engagement, and preparing for exactly this moment. The 17,000 colonists on Kepler 442 bits weren't just miners and farmers waiting to be rescued. They were the first generation of evolved humans, and they had been waiting their entire lives for someone to test them. Evolution Unleashed. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of the mining station's command center, watching the last civilian transport disappear into the asteroid field that surrounded Kepler 442 bits. Below her, the surface of the planet spread out in geometric patterns where 15 years of mining had carved precise channels through mountains and valleys. What the orbital surveys didn't show were the subtle modifications her people had made to every structure, every tunnel, every defensive position. "Captain, long-range sensors are picking up hyperspace distortions," reported Lieutenant Marcus Cole from the communications station. "Looks like our guests are arriving." Sarah nodded, feeling the familiar tingling at the base of her skull that meant the neural network was activating. Around the command center, her crew moved with increasing coordination as their individual consciousnesses began linking through quantum entanglement implants that had been growing in their brains since birth. "Hyperspace tiers opening," Cole announced. "Count is 12, 15, 23, 37 Void Raider vessels. Mass readings indicate full assault configuration." Through the neural link, Sarah felt the presence of every human on the planet. 17,000 minds touched hers briefly, sharing readiness, determination, and something the galaxy had never seen before: perfect unity without loss of individual identity. Each person remained themselves while simultaneously being part of something greater. The Void Raiders emerged from hyperspace like predators materializing from shadow. Their ships were organic-looking constructs that seemed to shift and flow as they moved, technology that had evolved through countless battles to become nearly unstoppable. They had consumed entire civilizations, absorbed their knowledge, and used it to become even more deadly. "Broadcasting on all frequencies," reported the communications officer. "Standard Void Raider demand for surrender." Sarah felt amusement ripple through the network. Through quantum entanglement communicators, every human settlement in the system was connected. Mining platforms, orbital stations, and even the agricultural domes shared the same collective awareness. "Tom, activate the mountain protocols," Sarah ordered. On the planet's surface, what appeared to be natural mountain ranges began to move. The Void Raider's sensors detected massive energy signatures as camouflaged fusion reactors came online. But these weren't ordinary power plants. 15 years of mining had hollowed out entire mountain chains, creating a network of interconnected chambers that now served as the galaxy's most sophisticated defense system. The first Void Raider assault wave descended toward the planet's surface, their adaptive shields already analyzing the mining colony's apparent defenses. Their technology began preparing countermeasures for the simple particle weapons and basic energy shields they expected to encounter. Instead, they met something unprecedented. The mountains themselves opened fire, not with energy weapons or projectile cannons, but with focused gravitational waves that twisted space-time around the attacking ships. The Void Raiders' adaptive technology tried to compensate, but how do you adapt to having the fundamental forces of physics turned against you? "Neural link at full strength," Cole reported, his voice calm despite the incredible battle unfolding around them. "All mining teams report ready." Through the network, Sarah felt the presence of miners working in the deepest tunnels, farmers tending crops in underground hydroponics bays, and children in schools built into asteroid caverns. All of them were connected, all of them part of the defense, all of them evolving in real time as the battle progressed. The Void Raiders regrouped, their ships adapting to the gravitational weapons by redistributing their mass configurations. But as they adapted, so did the humans. The network processed the enemy changes instantly, sharing tactical data across 17,000 linked minds and adjusting defensive systems faster than any computer could calculate. "They're trying to jam our communications," reported the sensor operator. "Let them," Sarah replied. "We're not using communications." The quantum entanglement that linked every human consciousness on the planet operated outside normal spacetime. The Void Raiders could disrupt electromagnetic communications, but they couldn't interfere with quantum states that existed in parallel dimensions. More Void Raider ships descended, spreading out to attack multiple mining facilities simultaneously. This was their standard tactic: overwhelm defenders by forcing them to divide their attention and resources. But the humans didn't divide their attention. Through the neural network, every defender could perceive every battle simultaneously. In Mining Shaft 7, young colonist Amy Rodriguez felt Void Raider infiltrators entering the tunnel system. Through the network, she shared her awareness with combat specialist Maria Santos, 3 levels up. Maria's tactical knowledge flowed to Amy instantly, allowing a 19-year-old geology student to coordinate defensive measures with the skill of a veteran soldier. The infiltrators found themselves lost in tunnels that seemed to rearrange themselves. What they didn't realize was that the mining equipment had been designed to reshape the tunnel network in real time. Guided by the collective intelligence of 17,000 linked minds working in perfect coordination. Above ground, the gravitational weapons continued their bombardment, but now they were joined by other technologies that shouldn't have existed. Mining lasers designed to cut through solid rock had been modified to slice through Void Raider armor. Ore processing equipment had been converted into mass accelerators that fired chunks of refined metal at relativistic speeds. "Captain," Cole said, his voice carrying undertones of wonder, "the network is processing battle data faster than our computers can display it. We're not just adapting to their tactics. We're predicting them." Sarah nodded, feeling the incredible sensation of 17,000 minds working as one. Through the network, she could perceive the mathematical patterns underlying Void Raider tactics, the psychological profiles of their commanders, even the quantum fluctuations in their adaptive technology. The Void Raiders, for the first time in their recorded history, found themselves outmatched. Every adaptation they made was immediately countered. Every tactical advantage they gained was instantly neutralized. They were fighting not just 17,000 humans, but a collective intelligence that operated beyond their understanding. "Sir," came a transmission from the lead Void Raider vessel. "These humans, they're not fighting like individuals. They're operating as a single entity, but somehow maintaining individual initiative. Our adaptation protocols can't keep up." On Nexus Prime, High Counselor Thaxon watched the battle through long-range sensors, his reptilian features frozen in disbelief. Admiral Zektar's compound eyes reflected the impossible scenes unfolding on their displays. "How are they doing this?" Thaxon whispered. "Their technology readings show nothing beyond basic fusion and primitive computing systems." "High Counselor," came a report from the monitoring station. "We're detecting quantum entanglement signatures throughout the human settlement. But the pattern is unlike anything in our databases. It's not technology-based. It appears to be biological." As the battle reached its climax, the Void Raiders made a desperate decision. Unable to defeat the humans through conventional assault, they activated their ultimate weapon, a reality distortion field that would collapse the planet's quantum structure, destroying everything on its surface. The humans felt the attack beginning through their quantum-linked consciousness, but instead of fleeing or trying to shield themselves, they did something unprecedented. All 17,000 minds focused simultaneously on a single point in space-time, using their collective quantum awareness to stabilize reality itself. The Void Raider weapon, designed to collapse quantum states, instead encountered a quantum structure maintained by 17,000 conscious observers. According to the fundamental laws of physics, the wave function couldn't collapse while being observed. The weapon failed catastrophically, the feedback destroying 3 Void Raider command ships. "Impossible," Admiral Zektar chittered. "They're using consciousness itself as a weapon." The remaining Void Raiders flowed into hyperspace, their adaptive technology unable to process what they had encountered. For the first time in their existence, they had met a species that evolved faster than their own adaptation protocols. In the command center on Kepler 442 bits, Sarah Chen felt the collective consciousness of her people settling back into individual awareness. The immediate threat was over, but the implications of what they had accomplished were just beginning to sink in. "Captain," Cole reported, "we're receiving transmissions from every major civilization in the galaxy. They all want to know the same thing. How did we do it?" Sarah smiled, feeling the quiet satisfaction of 17,000 humans who had just proven that evolution wasn't just about technology or physical adaptation. Sometimes it was about consciousness itself transcending its limitations. "Send a message to the Galactic Council," she ordered. "Tell them humanity accepts full membership status, and tell them we're ready to teach them what we've learned about the next stage of evolution. On Nexus Prime, the assembled delegates of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations stared at their displays in stunned silence. The species they had dismissed as primitive and emotional had just accomplished something none of them had imagined possible. Humanity hadn't just defended a single colony. They had evolved beyond individual consciousness while maintaining individual identity, created technology that operated through quantum awareness, and demonstrated that the next stage of galactic civilization wouldn't be built on superior firepower or advanced computers. It would be built on the infinite potential of consciousness itself. The galaxy had mocked humanity's emotional nature and primitive technology, but they had failed to understand that evolution isn't always about becoming stronger or smarter. Sometimes it's about becoming more human.